How to hack your habits. Break bad, build good.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Sometimes I feel like our lives are just one giant habit loop. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Today, we're going to dive into this popular video all about hacking your habits.
Sounds good to me.
It is all about figuring out how to ditch those bad habits and how to create awesome new ones.
Yeah.
So, shall we jump right in?
Yeah, let's get right to it. The video starts off, talking about the science behind habits, like how each habit is really just a loop, a cue, a routine, and then a reward. Like when your phone buzzes, that is the cue.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right. You pick up your phone and check it. That's the routine.
Right.
And then that little hit of dopamine that you get from seeing a notification, well, that's the reward.
Yeah, and it's so sneaky because our brain is rewarding us for things that aren't really good for us in the long run, like doom scrolling.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes sense that breaking bad habits is so hard.
It really does.
But this video actually has some really, really practical tips.
Oh, that's good. I could use a few of those.
Right, me too.
Yeah.
The first thing that they say is that it's really important to identify the cues.
Yeah, absolutely.
They suggest keeping a journal for like a week
Okay.
and actually literally writing down what triggers your bad habits.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Self-awareness is like such a key first step. It's like really being aware of what you are doing without thinking, without even realizing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for example, if you're trying to stop snacking late at night, the video suggests removing all the snacks from your pantry. Because if the chips aren't there, you are less likely to eat them.
Oh, that is so true. Out of sight, out of mind. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, what about a situation where you can't really avoid the cue? Like, what if you have a coworker who brings donuts in every Friday?
Mm-hmm.
You can't really avoid the break room.
Right. That's where they suggest the routine replacement.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so they suggest that you should swap a bad habit for something healthier. Like if you are trying to quit smoking, chew gum, or take a walk when you have a craving, it's like taking all of that energy from the bad habit and channeling it towards something else.
Oh, I love that. Redirecting that energy, I love it. They also talk about finding an accountability buddy. So, sharing your goal with someone or joining a support group.
Yes. Having a support system makes such a huge difference.
Huge, especially when you are lacking motivation.
Right.
Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about building good habits. The video really stresses that it's super important to start small. It sounds so simple, but even committing to 5 minutes of exercise a day can make a difference.
It's less overwhelming too, right? Trying to change everything at once just doesn't work for most people.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I am so guilty of starting with good intentions and then completely fizzling out after a week. How do you make those small changes stick?
Well, the key is consistency. The video recommends doing the habit at the same time every day, in the same place every day. Our brains actually love routines, so making a routine makes it easier for your brain to embrace this new habit. But they also suggest tracking your progress, like even using a simple checklist. Seeing your wins can be incredibly motivating.
It really can.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to talk about celebrating wins too.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't go and eat a giant pizza after a 5-minute walk.
Right.
But reward yourself with something enjoyable, and that will just reinforce that positive habit loop.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Now, the video also talks about something really interesting, which is mindset.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They specifically talk about a growth mindset.
Yeah, tell me more about that. I've heard the term before, but how does that apply to habits?
I'm curious about that too. I've never really understood.
Okay, so think about it this way. If you have a fixed mindset, you might think that you can't change your abilities. But if you have a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve.
Okay, I think I am starting to understand.
Yeah, so when you stumble on your journey, which we all do, we're human,
All the
Yeah.
time.
you view that setback as a chance to learn and adapt your approach.
Oh, wow. So instead of seeing it as a failure, you see it as a learning moment.
It is that.
That's a much more powerful way to look at it. So would you say that self-compassion is also a big part of that?
Oh, 100%. The Video talks about how beating yourself up over mistakes is just not helpful.
Right. It just makes it that much harder to get back on track.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, self-compassion is really important. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days.
Exactly.
And the key is to just keep moving forward. They also suggest trying this thing called visualization, where you mentally picture yourself successfully maintaining this new habit.
Oh, interesting. So you're basically doing a mental rehearsal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to sum up, I feel like we've learned some awesome strategies about changing our habits. From understanding these habit loops to actually practical tips to even mindset. I feel like I've learned so much today.
I agree.
So what stands out to you?
Hmm.
What is something that you could implement today based on what we talked about?
Well, I think that the biggest takeaway for me is that even tiny steps can create big changes in your life if you do them consistently.
That's a great takeaway. So what is one tiny step that our listeners can take today?
Well, I think that it would be great if our listeners try to become more self-aware. Like, for example, keep track of how many times a day you pick up your phone and check it without really needing to. It might surprise you.
I think you're absolutely right. That is a great challenge to leave our listeners with. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
This was fun.
I'll see you next time.
See you next time.